on my file anytime you want.
So that was another
Why don't you come
question.
in tomorrow, tonight, how often do you?
No.
Yeah.
We might do
No?
that.
Guys, again, I think
We might do that.
I have all the information you guys requested.
Go ahead.
That's what I
I've
thought
been
I was
trying to
gonna
meet with you
get.
guys.
I didn't think I was gonna get an email the way I got it. I really just thought that it was gonna be, this is her job description, this is what she does. Okay, fine. Then from there, there's other steps, you know, there's an evaluation, you look at all these things before you consider the raise. The way I perceived it was, okay, let's do a raise. I said, okay, let's ask some questions before we get to the raise. At no point did we ever say we're not gonna give a raise, right? Did I ever say that to you? We're not gonna give a raise? I
I
even
don't
said,
think we ever got to that point.
I-
We're trying to schedule a meeting so we can
Right.
discuss them.
I even sent you an email and said, okay, since we can't seem to coordinate a date for us to talk on the phone and meet, answer some questions, what percentage are you looking for?
And I
never
answered the
got-
question, 100%.
Didn't get that email back.
I said at the very least, they deserve exactly what every other employee in the district got. I definitely responded, I have proof.
I think you did send something like that, but the other
I think
question
what's
that
fair
I
is
asked,
fair.
I think it was after the fact, but in any case, yes. So that's where that was coming from. It was not meant on a malicious attack Diane kind of a thing.
No, we spoke after that, maybe email.
Yeah, it was just a general thing, and when I saw that email, I was like, okay, this is going in a bad light, because I don't think that you should have seen that email, because I thought that you might take it in the wrong way. That's all that I had to say about that, but then things just continued escalating to this point.
Tom?
Number one, I agree with you, Paul, about the harassment, but I think it's Diane that's being harassed, number one. Number two, as a former member of the NJEA as a teacher, and I know many of the teachers and aides, et cetera, belong to the association, they absolutely have the right to call the NJEA on any questions they have, legal questions or not. So I don't see where anything is upsetting about that. Anyone has the right to, and I urge every teacher and aide, if they have to call, you call. Secondly, I don't know where a tone comes in. Tone is from my ears, and I don't see any tone other than capital letters where she wants to emphasize something, but I don't see where she is being insubordinate. She is just responding. And you know what? When someone attacks me as an individual, yes, sometimes I get my back up, and I will say, come on, what are you doing? You know, I've worked with Diane probably, except for John, as much as anybody on this board, and she's been so dedicated, so diligent, responds to every question that we have. She goes beyond and polls the board and notifies the teacher. I don't know what else you could expect of any employee, and I think instead of accusing, you should applaud her for all of her efforts. And I take offense that you're singling out one employee. What are you going to do? And next, if somebody else doesn't talk to you in the right tone, bring up charges against them for insubordination because you don't like the way that she or he spoke to you? They're our employees. We are here as the Board of Ed, not to dictate to them, but rather to assist them and advise them and leave it up to the superintendent of schools that we entrusted. And I probably worked under 5 superintendents. And Mr. Cirillo is impeccable. He goes right at the top with them. So I don't see how anybody could even question his authority. And no, I do not think it was a tone directed at one person. I'm not paranoid by it. I'm not saying, Diane, what did you address it to me? No, I'm not paranoid. And I'm not, you know, I might get uptight about anonymous letters that might have been written about me in the past. But I'm not going to call the NJEA, or in our process here, it would be the School Boards Association. But yes, I urge and I tell every teacher and every employee, that's why you pay dues, to question and ask.
Are you done? No report?
Not a report, it's a report.
No, absolutely it is. Because he still didn't discuss why she specifically sent the email to me and Maria.
Because you questioned it. We
have every right to question that.
Fine, and she has the right to respond to you.
Exactly. So you are inferring that she did respond to us by saying that she feels harassed.
No tone.
Report.
No tone.
No. She said, I feel being harassed. Anonymous letters is another factor that this, she is accusing us indirectly or directly that we've been sending the anonymous letters to the board. Are you kidding me? It says over here, let me read up. I will let you know I have called into the NJEA as I feel I'm being harassed. And
So
to
it doesn't
speak
say anything
to
about the
me
anonymous
and to
letters.
Maria, not to all of you guys. And at the end, the last one, again, she does it again. To everybody. Once again, this behavior reported to NJEA. She has no proof. She has nothing, and she's making things up. And she's causing problems. What
She
proof?
could say, I'm not telling you what I reported to them, or what I asked them rather, what I asked them.
I consider this as a
What
threat.
an insult that would be to every teacher
I consider this a
and
threat.
aide that pays dues, not
There
to
is no-
question things that are put before them. What an insult to them.
There is no grounds.
I'm just saying,
There's
if
no
they
grounds
want
for her
to,
to
I
react that
say
way.
do it.
She has
I
no
urge you.
ground. She has
She has no ground, she's questioning, Paul. It's okay.
Guys, whoa.
Okay.
One at a time, please, we're still taping this.
Paul, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you didn't get an answer from her, or you did get whatever answer you got from her, why didn't you email the rest of the board about it?
I thought it was a
Because
private
that would be
matter.
a violation.
Violation.
Well, why
Why
not
would
share
it
it
be a
with me so I
violation?
can reprimand her if that's what you thought was
Yeah,
Why
that's
would
what
it
I'm
be-
not
why
understanding,
didn't you
why
say
all
we
these
got to get
exchanges.
together, have a meeting, and get together so we can discuss this
Fine.
problem?
What?
Because Diane's
There
not
was no
answering
change.
us.
I tried to do a meeting and I was told that we couldn't do a meeting because it has to be a public meeting. We couldn't have more than 5 members in a meeting. It was not a private, it was not a public
publicly
meeting.
advertised.
It would have been publicly advertised.
That's what I
We've done, over the 30 years that I know, we've done
Special
emergency
meetings.
meetings, special meetings, there was no problems with
I
those.
asked Richie and Joe if we can have a closed session before this meeting so we didn't have to bring the public in, and they told me, no, it has to be
It had to
in
be
the public.
advertised.
Well,
Because, wait. We told you no because there was no time to get it done. There are standards when you notify them. You guys have the realization meeting, you list your 12 meetings for the year. That's tentative, but it's considered a publication. If you're gonna change a meeting that's scheduled for 7 o'clock and meet at 6 o'clock, you can never exclude the public. You can go into closed, but the public is available and they can be at any meeting you have. You have to advertise, and the threshold is 48 hours. We didn't have enough time to get it all done. Second of all, meetings can't just be called by a board member individually. It has to be through the board president in conjunction with the superintendent, or if you get 5 board members to agree to it. So that's why you were told no. We just didn't have the time to get it done, to get a new
But
schedule.
even to do that in closed, she would have had to been Rice, and she chose to do this in public, so it's.
But there's nothing stopping 2 board members and the superintendent from meeting with Mrs. Montemuro or anybody,
Right.
as long as there's not a majority of the board there, correct?
Correct.
To discuss this stuff?
Correct.
So
It's
you're
just
asking
that
why
this
was it
past
that
month, this past month between my schedule and Paul's schedule, we could never arrange something. Joe suggested a couple of dates. I said yes, then Paul couldn't make it. And he suggested another couple of dates, then I couldn't make it. So,
In my experience, this is what happens when, with emails. You know, a lot gets lost in the email. And,
It's lost in translation.
I think, you know, every effort should have been made, maybe to do it in person, and we wouldn't be sitting here.
If everybody's got the right to feel, I feel that I was harassed. All right? I feel that she threatened me and Maria. That's why I still stand. Because that email was directed to just me and her, not anybody else.
So that means if any employee here speaks to me with a tone that I don't like,
Again, you talked about the tone, huh?
well, that's what you did.
I'm
Because you
talking-
mentioned about the tone of this
I'm
letter, and
talking
I'm just
about
saying,
quote-unquote what she
if
said
someone
that she
speaks
felt
to me in a
harassed.
way that I feel is something like
Listen to me.
harassment.
She said that you just said with your mouth that she has the right to feel. I have the right to feel this way.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
But
I
I'm
do.
just- I'm
So
glad
don't
that
tell
I'm
me
not
how I
sensitive
feel.
enough that like I was employed before in other aspects, that I didn't get insulted by the tone of people.
Insulted, I'm threatened. She said she reported us.
She said she contacted the NJEA.
No? Okay, here we go.
She,
The word-
yes, there it goes
yeah.
again.
sorry, Tom, the word is reported, so that's how we understood that.
Well,
they
maybe
told
she
me
never
to
reported the
actually-
incident that happened, not reported you and accused you of doing something. She reported
When we
what
are
happened.
asking her description of the job and she replies that way,
And
it
she
is
wanted to
inferred.
know, as she reported to the NJEA.
Why would she
you have
say
the
that
right
out of the
to.
blue if she didn't feel threatened about our questions?
Harassed by the questions, I think is the word.
harassed? Why was she harassed by the questions that we asked?
Like you said, she felt that way. As you felt that way, she felt that way.
How does she feel that way if you
I don't know, Paul. How did you feel that you were threatened because you used capital
Have you read the
letters?
questions?
Tom, it was a very simple question.
It was a simple,
Wouldn't
basic
the
question.
And it should have gone to the
that we could ask.
superintendent, who's the one that is supposed to give out the information,
And
not to the
Well,
employee.
we asked Lola.
I was the superintendent.
I asked the
I
superintendent.
didn't send it to them, I asked the superintendent. And that is proper procedure according to this 18A-11-1. Proper procedure is a board member can go to the superintendent and ask anything. It's the superintendent's right to say you're entitled to that information or you're not entitled to that information. I
And?
went to the superintendent.
And?
The superintendent felt the need to forward that email. And
Without letting us know.
That's when everything sort of blew up because there was a miscommunication because I think it was
Okay,
not
so a
understood.
miscommunication is what you're talking about now.
Yes, it was not understood what my
Okay, so
idea
you're
was.
talking now,
They
I
wanted
agree, about a
information.
miscommunication. Clarify
That
it next
whole
time.
entire
That's all.
thing blew up. And
That's
the
why, again, not harassment, miscommunication. I can understand
The
that.
miscommunication.
Okay,
blew
fine,
up.
so you know what, next time we
Harassment.
clarify it, that's all, next time we clarify it.
And quite frankly, I don't know if I can do my job as a negotiation committee because I'm scared. When I'm gonna ask a question and they're gonna report me. I didn't report anybody concerning our committee or the secretary. I will come to you and talk to you about it.
I just have to say, so, well, I understand this is your first time on negotiations. I was a first-time negotiations person last year. And you're right, you don't really come to the table with a lot of information. Okay, not a lot's brought. I think one of the things, and again, just kind of sitting back, would be that if you're negotiating a couple hundred teachers, well, that's one thing. You'll know how many to be in each step. But when you're doing administrators, when you're doing some type of clerical, you know, the thing, you should be privileged to those before the negotiation. Again, it's my opinion. And why I say that is because I don't know, and again, during my tenure, I didn't work with anybody except the teachers for negotiations. But I think had you been properly staffed, you and Maria, with information, because I don't know 100% your job description. I really don't know everybody's job description. Not something that I have to know, but I know one thing. You're severely handicapped as a board member on a negotiations committee without having those. So I know for sure you should have them. In my opinion, you should have been provided them prior to having the negotiations. That's the part that we're all missing. Prior, they should have been there because you're dealing with nothing. How would you know what this person is doing? Is there, what's in the personnel file? Are there anything that we should know? So again, I think going forward, no matter whoever's on the personnel committee going forward, or for this negotiation, whatever, take this as a good warning. I mean, a good heed the advice to bring these job descriptions to the table prior. That's all I have to say.
Excuse me, but isn't that available at the board office if anybody wants that information? And isn't it the obligation of the negotiations committee to check out the job description before they sit down? Like when I sat down with the teachers, I would want to know the job description of the teachers before I work with them. That's my obligation.
Well, that's what I thought when I sent the email
Yeah,
to Dr. Cirillo. I
Dr.
thought,
Cirillo.
Okay,
what
but
is
they
the
are on
job
file.
description? What are we talking about?
Yeah, just
But
go
guys,
in
again,
there, go
for
in
the-
there,
I asked for
go in
it. I didn't ask
Guys.
for anything else.
Miscommunication, you correct, Maria.
Guys, for the record, I did say, on numerous occasions, I schedule a meeting and go over all the details that were asked of me. I have everything readily available. I was advised by Paul more than once that he was not available in the month of February. Maria, you and I went back and forth with dates. The fact that we could not sit and discuss it. Obviously, there's no recommendation for central office negotiations. Everything's ready. I need to sit down and show you guys what you asked.
Okay, Tom, in response to, I guess, you kind of responding to me, is that I know that they're there, but being a first-time board member, and same when I was, on this negotiation committee, first time, I don't know what's available. I think, again, it would be the forthright thing for who's ever putting this negotiation together to say, you know, here's the job descriptions.
And who is putting
Okay.
that together? This is
Well, my opinion, again, when you assign somebody to, the president assigns somebody
Yeah.
to a negotiations committee, okay? I've never done it before during my tenure,
Right.
so I had to find out some questions.
Mhm.
Okay, I went to my first meeting blind, okay? I didn't go to my second meeting blind, but I went to my first meeting blind, I just kinda sat there.
Mhm.
What are we talking about? And again, things just flew over
Right,
my
you did
head.
your homework before, which is good.
Well,
That's very good.
That's
all I'm
what we're
saying,
doing.
all I'm saying is that, just for the future,
Sure,
have them available, at least make it known to the next committee
absolutely.
who does negotiations,
Mhm.
that the job descriptions are available before you start your negotiation, based on the
Absolutely.
people
Now,
you're
whose
gonna know.
obligation is that?
I don't know. I'll
Okay,
ask
that's what
you.
I'm just questioning. I absolutely agree with you.
I would
and I'm
ask
glad you did your
I would ask
homework and
Dr.
did that.
Cirillo or Rich Braverone.
My position is, I listen to what the negotiating committee tells me. So, negotiating committee wants information. I have never in my 25 years held back any information from negotiating committees. Anything anybody's ever asked for, we've gotten from central office.
So it'll be the
Well,
chair.
first of all, you know salaries because you have a scattergram before you even start, and that's every negotiations. This particular one with central office, I've never been involved in those negotiations. That's always been done with the committee and the superintendent, mostly the superintendents.
No, excuse me, Mr. Barlow, I'm gonna correct you here. I'm here 25 years. We have never negotiated with a negotiating.
Just the
committee.
superintendent.
It's always been with the superintendent.
Past practice.
Past
Um, But yes, negotiating committees can ask for anything they want, Ken. You know,
No, what
and-
I'm saying, but, and again, I understand, nobody's trying to hold anything back, but what I'm saying, maybe just for the next committee, again, because I might be on a committee next time that I'm not familiar with, just let them know that what's available for the negotiations committee. Okay, that these things are available, I wouldn't know I can go through your file if I was the person on that.
Can we get something off the table? I don't want the teachers sitting here thinking that any board member's gonna go in and start looking at their personnel files tomorrow.
No.
You don't have the right to just go in there and start looking through personnel
No,
files.
no, we're talking
Understand
about
that.
these people
But that's
here.
been said a couple of times, and that's not what
Well,
the
we're not
law
looking at
says.
teachers, we're talking about,
It's
again,
anybody who's a
specifically,
personnel person. I mean, anybody.
specifically the administrators who are involved in this negotiation, okay?
Thus, we decided to talk to Dr. Cirillo about these questions, preparing for the negotiations. And the reply was not, to say the least, kosher.
Reply from me?
No,
So, I mean, I'm not gonna stop anybody from talking because this is your time period to get it done. I understand now, you'll be meeting with Dr. Cirillo. I know that was offered
Well,
an hour ago.
I'm available.
For the
I told you guys
information.
I've been available. And whenever you guys wanna sit down, we'll go over the
But again,
questions.
I'm not trying to stop it, Paul. You wanna continue with
No.
anything with Maria, or anybody on the board wants to ask any other questions, you know, that's fine.
I just
Or
want to-
Diane wants to say anything.
Rich, I want to ask you, Maria or Paul, did you ever get any job description from Diane?
yes, we
She
did.
sent us an email, and she said something to the effect.
Because I see here on the,
Yes.
what
In
Paul
her spare
passed
time,
out.
Yes.
she put this together.
Diane, thank you for your job
Yes.
descriptions. So I'm presuming that you did get what you wanted.
That was one of the questions that Diane, I guess, took it upon herself to
Yeah,
answer.
she did not answer all of our questions.
It was
I
an
have the rest of
email.
that one.
How many questions were there?
It's in there, it's
So
somewhere.
there's enough
Four.
for us to continue the negotiations.
And because of that, you feel harassed and
No, no, not just her. We have consequences for everybody in the central office.
No, he asked.
How is that
He
harassing?
felt
We're
harassed.
asking questions about their job description, their salary. How is that?
Who else did you ask in central?
I asked Dr. Cirillo and you
I
answered.
asked, the question was the ladies. I didn't say send me the job
Shut up.
description for Diane Montemiro. I said the ladies. It was my understanding when we were talking about the whole central office. and
With
they
the exception of
believed-
Lala Gillis.
Right, you had said that before. I think Richie had answered it in the office.
And just because we have more questions for Diane doesn't mean we're harassing her.
I never said you would.
No, someone else is saying
Wait a
it
minute.
right now. John, you told me that we feel that we're harassing her right now.
No,
John,
I
to answer
said-
your question, check page, I think it's 5, on the bottom it says 1 of 2 pages. I think that is the job description.
Well, I'm just reading what I guess you answered. It says, Diane, thank you for your job description. I'm sorry if this morning there was a misunderstanding. So I don't, that's why I'm in limbo in the sense that I don't understand why you saying you're being harassed, you know, and I don't see anything. I mean, I've been on negotiation for over 30 years. Every time we did go into negotiation,
John.
The job
Alright,
let me just
description
finish,
is
Right,
let me
on
finish,
five.
let me finish. I know, let me just finish. And I've never had any problems with the teachers. Well, I shouldn't say that. We did debate and we went back and forth with the percentages and the money. But we always worked it out. We knew what we wanted. Anytime we needed something, we got it from the central office. So that's why I'm getting it. It's very hard for me to accept what you're saying, that you're being harassed, because maybe one thing you can get out of 15 or 20 things that you requested.
No, not
Joe gave
exactly.
you. I don't understand the whole procedure or this
I
process
am-
that you're doing.
I'm defending myself because she's quote unquote said, I will let you know I've called the NGA and I feel being harassed. The anonymous letters are also another factor in my decision to reach out to NJEA. All we do is ask pertinent questions about her job description.
Well, let's get that anonymous
Is that-
letter.
is that a
As I
quick
said,
response to
Paul,
you?
as I stated last meeting, no offense to any teachers, but I yelled at a teacher in church because I thought that it was her area, and then found out that was the ECC. Somebody told me that was the ECC building sent that letter out. It was about whatever it was, I forgot, because I don't pay any attention to the anonymous letters that are not signed. I throw them away. But I felt like shit, if you pardon the expression, because I yelled at the poor teacher, and she went to her union, she went to the ENGA, whatever, but she belonged to, and then I apologized the following week because I realized how stupid can I be for yelling at one teacher, and she probably didn't even know what I was talking about.
Did you go to
So,
confession?
and I went to confession. So, these things get out of hand a lot of times. And anonymous letters, you don't even bother with
Fine,
them.
yeah,
If
fine,
they're
but
not
then-
signed, and I've experienced that many
She
times in my
mentioned that
lifetime. You should never even think about
She mentioned
anonymous
the email
letters.
to us specifically, and also, I did mention on my statement, I did call Diane personally to say, could you please retract your statement? And she decided not to. So right now,
Why would she retract it? She maybe, for all we know, I didn't ask her, but for all I know, she probably asked for advice, what's going on, maybe she was asking for help. What do we know?
when we're asking
Unless she
questions
says.
about a job that you say she feels harassed, is it like A to B?
I'm not saying, I'm
What
asking
statement
you.
was I retracting? What statement did
You said that you feel harassed because that you're in danger of negotiating from now in the future. That was the way she handled it.
Absolutely.
What could she possibly do to you that
Was
you
she
feel in
threatening or
danger?
saying that she's being harassed when we're asking common questions? How are we supposed to continue with our procedure, with our process?
You do follow the same process, and you
What
do
not-
go.
We're asking simple questions. Is that true or not, John? All right?
And you got the answer.
No, not like this. When you're telling me that I feel harassed and she reported to NJEA.
But did you get the answer? Whether she reported it or not? Did you get the answer?
Accusing us
Did
of
you get the
anonymous
answer?
letters.
Did you get the answer that you wanted, even though she went to the
Not all the
NGA?
answers, and that's much later.
Well, the only
That was a
thing I
direct
answered-
response from her.
The only thing I answered was my job description.
No.
If I had other questions to ask, then I don't.
Right away,
maybe yes, I
right
would
away
follow.
when I asked her that question, she responded to us only by this remark. And then later, after she cooled down, whatever it is, after that, she started giving a job description. You know, so complained to us, I'm taking my downtime off to do this, blah, 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 blah. She was
I'm
not at.
taking my downtime
Oh, really?
off to do this. So
Okay,
read it.
okay.
Yes,
Where
please
is it?
do.
Mind if I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just based on what you said earlier, you said that past practice, this was not normal.
Mhm.
So this is a new thing?
Mhm.
So what, why is it suddenly being changed? I guess that's one question.
I think it's because I wrote to the New Jersey School Board's legal department, I asked the question, because I was sent an email from Dr. Cirillo saying that in the past, the superintendent has negotiated the central office, and it's just brought up to us for a resolution.
Okay.
So I asked the question, and the answer from NGA Legal says the negotiation committee, as opposed to the personnel committee, is typically responsible for negotiating salaries and other terms of conditions of employment, only for the unionized staff members. Local practice could differ, but that is the usual. Typically, who is in the union is laid out in the articles of the contract. So I went back to Dr. Cirillo and I asked, is Diane union or non-union? Because of what NJ Legal Department asked me. I never got an answer if she's union or non-union.
She's NJEA. She's NJEA. She's not local, she's state.
So we weren't even sure.
Don't know
if
how that works because union, if they're union, then they fall under negotiations, not under the superintendent.
Exactly.
Dr. Cirillo had emailed me back that in the past, the previous superintendents before him always took care of central office on their own. And I'm assuming it came up for resolution. I'm assuming, I don't remember, I don't know how long their contracts are, 3 years. I don't know how long central office is.
I believe there is.
Okay.
So I honestly, I don't have any recollection of having a resolution brought up saying central office is getting X percentage. I don't remember that. I've been on the board 8 years, so honestly, I don't remember. So I asked those questions to Dr. Cirillo. One, is she union because of what legal NJ school boards said the union falls under negotiation? So then I would just say, okay, here, you take it, you know, do whatever you want and just put up for a resolution and then we'll approve it or not. So that's, but this does fall under
Because
negotiation.
usually, Maria, whatever the teachers got, the superintendent, they were central office. Whatever raise, 2%, whatever. They'll always follow suit according to what the teachers got.
With that.
The superintendent always negotiated after the teachers got their contract.
So it just seems to me, I mean, after reading all this and listening to everyone speak, that this is a very new and unfamiliar process for everyone. And, you know, many emails were exchanged, obviously a lot of miscommunication. And I can see both sides, you know, like from Ms. Montemiro's perspective, it could look like maybe this is, you know, she might be defending her position based on past practice. And then I can also see how Mr. Kim and Ms. Alvarez would feel, I mean, not knowing what NJEA exactly is and seeing that word reported, it could, you know, feel like they're being threatened. So it seems like a big miscommunication, and I don't know, I mean, what can we do here from here on out to resolve this? Because it seems like this just escalated to a point where it really shouldn't have.
Exactly, but if he asks pertinent questions, we don't want this kind of response. That's all. Very simple.
So you don't want this kind of response from?
No, then we cannot go on with the negotiation committee.
Paul, I'll be more than happy again. This is the first I've seen with a lot of these emails. I wish you would have gotten to me sooner. I will be sure to speak to Ms. Montemuro in the morning. It's the best I can tell you right now. I don't know what more you want me to do as superintendent. And again, I'm available whenever you guys want. I have all the information that was asked.
I mean, does that feel sufficient for both parties? I feel like, I mean, we can go on and on for the next, I spent 50 minutes already. I mean, is there anything else you would like to say, or, you know?
I'm good. I'll meet with Dr. Cirillo whenever we have time. I've already said to him this week, tomorrow I can't, and Friday I can't. But next week hopefully.
Next Thursday? Next Friday? Whenever you guys are ready, you let me know.
Okay, so I've never been in this position before, but any other?
But now again, we have an issue with them being in the union and me not representing them. Is that what you were advised by NJEA? Because now we need an opinion from the attorney. Because I can't speak for Rich, you're the attorney, please.
I'm not gonna make a decision on this. What's gonna happen, first of all, I wanted to correct one thing. You stated, Maria, that for 8 years you don't remember anything with regard to central office contract. This Board of Education has always approved all contracts. Whether the superintendent has done it, as I stated, I've never been involved in the negotiations with central office, because I guess it was just done pretty easily. It was just a pro forma, what she got, he got, type of thing. But the board does see it and has the opportunity to always vote no on all of them, just like you do with the teachers, the custodians, and everybody, and the administrators, like you did this evening. So what I'm just gonna recommend, again, they and the Teamsters are the ones that are dealing with contracts that have expired. Again, it's not that they don't have a contract, because they have a contract. It's just that it expired July 1st of 15. So I would recommend that, you know, the committee get together and sit down and discuss it with the central office, and then we get to the Teamsters. And then the Teamsters, I will be involved in that one if you so desire. It's still a board's choice whether I'm involved or not. So just try to get that resolved one way or the other, whatever information you need. I think it's a good idea to sit down with Dr. Cirillo tomorrow, Paul, and decide over the next couple of days what you want to do with this. Because again, as I stated, the only one who can make any personnel decisions is your superintendent. Recommendations. You vote on it, but he's the only one who can make a recommendation of any type.
Can I ask?
No. Sorry,
I'm a
I mean to be,
parent.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so, no.
No.
We're in the middle of something, I'm
Will
sorry.
there be time for parents to ask questions or no?
I'm sorry, right now it's not open to the public.
I
would-
understand that, but will it be done tonight?
I think that's
Otherwise,
passed. They had audience
Okay,
participation.
here's my recommendation, because I think that whenever you have an entity and you have public, and the public has now been here and they've had their chance, and then you've gotten to something that is now 52 minutes long, I always recommend, and again, I recommend, I don't dictate, that you open it again if there's any questions from the residents that are strict, at the citizens or anybody who's in the audience. My recommendation, but you guys can do whatever you want to do. But please, I don't like you just yelling out from your ends, okay? So, let's deal with this first. Let's get this out of the way. Is everybody done with what this was brought up tonight? Diane, you have anything further to say?
No, I don't.
Okay, Paul or Maria?
So you
Well-
will be in with negotiations with Dr. Sedol and myself?
With
for the
what?
Central office? or
No, that's a board decision. I mean, you're the committee. You guys have to decide what you want to do. Paul, you're shaking your head, you're not done.
Oh, for now.
You're done, that's my
Yeah, for
point.
tonight.
How long is this gonna go on?
For tonight, it's done. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, so we're done?
Yes.
Okay. My recommendation is on the table as what you do with the public.
Okay. Can we have a motion?
Make a motion to open the audience participation for this subject.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, you may. I'm sorry. Can you state your name, please?
So,
Yes, state your name, please. For the-
Randy Preston, I'm speaking on behalf of a parent. Mr. Bott sent an email out to all the parents in the high school that there was an asbestos problem in the high school, that a ceiling tile fell, and there was asbestos, which I am thankful for, that he let us know. But I don't know anything further. There was nothing, no email, no letter, nothing from anyone. So I want to know what's going on. It's cancer. It is cancerous. We all know that. I am upset because I don't want my son being involved with breathing in or being a part of asbestos. Not only the high school, but what about Lindbergh? What about the entire district? Nothing's been said for about a week. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and my husband because my husband is really upset with it, that this should have been taken into consideration many, many years ago, and apparently it wasn't. So what's going on?
Randy, I'll be more than happy to answer that again. Probably about 10 after 7 I spoke about this issue.